The Eagles are gearing up for a massive showdown against the 49ers this Sunday at Lincoln Financial Field, and the anticipation is absolutely electric. This is one of those rivalries that never fails to deliver, a clash where history, pride, and sheer determination come together in a high-stakes matchup. Inside the Eagles camp, the energy is building, and fans can feel that momentum shift as Philadelphia enters the wild-card round with some critical pieces returning to the lineup. The story of the day is undoubtedly Lane Johnson, who has finally returned to practice after a long hiatus caused by a foot and ankle injury that sidelined him since Week 11. His journey back has been filled with determination, setbacks, and meticulous rehab. But now it looks like the Eagles' offensive line is about to get a major boost for the biggest game of the season. Lane Johnson's absence has been felt in every snap. Without him, the Eagles have struggled to protect their quarterback and open consistent lanes in the run game, and the numbers tell a stark story. While Lane was on the field, the Eagles' offense operated at a level that allowed them to control games, dominate matchups, and put pressure on defenses. During that stretch, he had not given up a single sack, a single quarterback hit, and allowed only 7 pressures, ranking 4th in the entire league among all offensive tackles. His PFF grade for pass blocking was in the top 10 at his position, while his overall blocking helped set the tone for the Eagles' high-performing offensive schemes. When Lane left the lineup, the offensive line faced significant challenges, impacting both the running and passing attack, and the team's record reflected that struggle. The respect for Lane Johnson in Philadelphia goes beyond just his on-field dominance. His leadership, work ethic, and preparation make him a central figure in the locker room and a mentor to younger players. Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni has repeatedly highlighted how much of a difference-maker Lane is, emphasizing that his presence allows the team to execute plays and strategies that would otherwise be far more difficult. Players like Fred Johnson stepped in admirably in Lane's absence, but the reality is that the Eagles' offense simply reaches another level with a veteran tackle anchoring the right side. Fans know this intuitively. There's a tangible Lane train effect, one that transforms both the confidence of the offensive line and the performance of skill players behind it. Alongside Lane, the Eagles are also welcoming back Jalen Carter, another key piece in a lineup that aims to dominate the trenches. Carter's combination of physicality, speed, and disruptive ability gives Philadelphia a clear advantage against San Francisco's front seven. His presence not only pressures the quarterback, but also alters the opposing team's game plan, forcing adjustments that can create openings elsewhere on the field. With both Lane Johnson and Jalen Carter in the mix, the Eagles are stacking the deck in their favor, creating mismatches in the trenches that could be decisive in a playoff matchup where every play carries enormous weight. The 49ers, for their part, have struggled with injuries that could dramatically affect their performance. Key pieces like Trent Williams, one of the best left tackles in football history, are dealing with hamstring issues that have limited their practice time. Williams' absence was glaring in a recent matchup against Seattle, where the 49ers' offensive line struggled to protect the quarterback and establish a running game. The domino effect was immediate, and the lack of field-stretching ability made it easier for defenses to anticipate and stifle San Francisco's attack. Add to that the injury woes of wide receiver Ricky Pierce, who is the only receiver capable of getting vertical against defenses, and linebacker Dwyers, who missed time due to an ankle injury, and suddenly the 49ers are entering this critical matchup with significant gaps in personnel and depth. Philadelphia's defensive unit has been thriving, particularly in pressuring quarterbacks and controlling the line of scrimmage. Players like Nolan Smith and Jix Hunt have consistently generated high pressure rates from the edge, contributing to a defense that has allowed the fewest points per game since Week 8. Kobe Dean's return adds another layer of versatility, as he can blitz, cover, and fill run gaps effectively, allowing the Eagles to neutralize key elements of the 49ers' offense. Vic Fangio's system relies heavily on discipline and execution, and the presence of disruptive players up front amplifies the team's ability to dictate the pace and style of the game. The strategic battle between Kyle Shanahan and Vic Fangio adds another fascinating layer to this matchup. Shanahan, known as one of the best defensive minds in football, faces Fangio, one of the most respected defensive strategists of the modern era. Historically, Shanahan's offenses have struggled against Fangio, and this dynamic introduces a chess match element to the game, where execution and matchups in the trenches may ultimately decide the outcome. The Eagles' defensive line and linebacking core, bolstered by key returns, are poised to take advantage of the 49ers' vulnerabilities, particularly with the absence or limited mobility of players like Trent Williams and other key contributors. Beyond the line play, the Eagles' secondary and pass rushers like Jalen Phillips have also been key in the team's resurgence. Phillips' addition mid-season transformed the Eagles' defense, contributing numerous pressures, quarterback hits, and sacks that shifted momentum in multiple games. His ability to impact both the passing and running game forces opposing quarterbacks to make quicker decisions, often leading to mistakes that can be capitalized on. His in-season integration has been seamless, and his performance illustrates the importance of strategic acquisitions and player development in building a playoff-ready team. This convergence of returning talent, strategic advantage in the trenches, and a high-performing defensive unit gives Philadelphia the edge heading into this rivalry game. Every coach, player, and fan is aware that momentum, matchups, and execution will dictate the story that unfolds on the field. The Eagles have the pieces to control the tempo, create mismatches, and exploit weaknesses in the 49ers roster, but it will require focus, discipline, and the kind of performance that defines playoff football. The excitement is tangible, and the narrative is building around Lane Johnson's return, the dominance of Carter, and the impact of players like Phillips and Dean. The stakes are enormous, and the contrast between Philadelphia's health and depth and San Francisco's injury concerns cannot be understated. While the 49ers boast talented players and a respected coaching staff, the absence of key personnel and the challenges in protecting their quarterback or establishing a consistent running game could define the contest. Every matchup on the field is now a critical chess piece, and Eagles fans are watching closely, knowing that execution in these moments often separates the winners from the also-rans in playoff football. With the Eagles entering this wild card matchup fully healthy in key areas, the pressure now shifts to San Francisco. The 49ers have talent, but their current injuries on both the offensive and defensive sides of the ball leave them vulnerable in critical situations. Left tackle Trent Williams' hamstring issue is particularly concerning, as he is the cornerstone of their offensive line. Williams is not just a blocker. He is the engine that allows the 49ers to run their outside zone schemes and to protect Brock Purdy in high-pressure situations. His ability to reach the second level on running plays and to neutralize edge rushers in pass protection has been a defining factor for San Francisco's offensive efficiency. Without him at full strength, the 49ers risk being unable to execute their game plan, and that has a cascading effect on the entire offense. Wide receiver Ricky Pierce's return from injury has been limited, and even when healthy, he is dealing with lingering knee and ankle issues. This creates a severe bottleneck for San Francisco's passing game. Pierce has been their only receiver capable of stretching the field vertically, and without his ability to threaten defenses deep, the 49ers are forced to operate within compressed spaces, allowing defenders to anticipate routes and double cover the most dangerous options. The lack of a vertical threat has already been exposed against elite defenses like Seattle, and it is likely to be a significant factor against a Philadelphia team that is disciplined, fast, and aggressive in coverage. Defensively, San Francisco has suffered losses in personnel that impact both their pass rush and run defense. Linebackers Dwyers and Keion White have been limited in practice due to injuries, and the 49ers' depth at key positions is being tested. Dwyers is a dynamic, fast linebacker capable of making game-changing plays, but his ankle issue limits his mobility and ability to read plays quickly. Keion White, a former second-round pick, is a solid rotational player who provides size and strength on the defensive line, but he lacks the versatility and explosiveness of the younger, more athletic edge rushers he will face from the Eagles. These mismatches in speed, agility, and technique could create openings for Philadelphia's offense to exploit, particularly in the red zone where quick reactions and precise execution are critical. Philadelphia's defensive line is prepared to capitalize on these vulnerabilities. Jalen Carter's return adds significant firepower to a unit that has already been dominant in generating pressure and controlling the line of scrimmage. Carter is not only disruptive, his presence forces quarterbacks to make quicker decisions, often resulting in mistakes that lead to turnovers or negative plays. Alongside Carter, players like Nolan Smith and Jix Hunt continue to excel in edge-rushing situations, creating consistent pressure that limits the options of opposing quarterbacks. The synergy between the defensive line and linebackers, including Kobe Dean, enhances the Eagles' ability to defend both the run and the pass effectively, giving them a strategic advantage in critical moments. The secondary is also positioned to take advantage of the 49ers' weaknesses. With receivers limited in speed and ability to create separation, the Eagles' defensive backs can be more aggressive in coverage, knowing that there are fewer threats capable of beating them deep. This allows the Eagles to implement more complex zone schemes, disguise coverages, and timely blitzes, creating uncertainty for Brock Purdy and reducing the effectiveness of the 49ers' passing game. Each player's role becomes magnified in the playoffs, where a single turnover or missed assignment can shift momentum dramatically. Special teams and situational football also come into play in a matchup of this magnitude. Philadelphia has shown discipline and efficiency in key areas such as field goals, punts, and coverage units. San Francisco's challenges in protecting key offensive players and maintaining consistency in the line may force them to rely on quick passes, short gains, and high-risk plays that the Eagles can anticipate. These moments, though small on the surface, often determine the outcome of playoff games where every yard counts. The depth, versatility, and health of the Eagles' roster provide them with an edge in executing these situations at a high level. Coaching strategies will also be pivotal. Nick Sirianni has demonstrated a keen ability to adjust to opponents, leveraging personnel strengths and exploiting weaknesses. The return of Lane Johnson allows for more creative play calling, opening up the field for both the run and pass game in ways that can stress the 49ers defense. Sirianni's understanding of matchups, combined with the physical advantages of the Eagles lineup, creates opportunities to attack San Francisco where they are most vulnerable. Conversely, Kyle Shanahan and his staff face the challenge of adjusting on the fly, attempting to mask weaknesses and compensate for the absence of key players like Trent Williams, all while trying to execute a game plan that was likely designed with a fully healthy roster in mind. The psychological aspect cannot be overlooked. Rivalry games carry extra weight, and the momentum created by returning stars like Lane Johnson and Jalen Carter energizes the entire team and fan base. Confidence in execution, trust in teammates, and the ability to remain disciplined under pressure are amplified when veterans with proven track records are back on the field. For the Eagles, this means that the energy in the locker room, on the sideline, and among fans could translate directly into performance, particularly in the trenches where games are often won or lost. Additionally, the historical performance of Shanahan against Vic Fangio adds another layer to consider. Fangio has repeatedly demonstrated an ability to neutralize even the most sophisticated offensive schemes, forcing mistakes and limiting scoring opportunities. The Eagles' recent defensive upgrades and returning personnel create a unique scenario where Fangio's system meets an opponent with the tools to challenge it at every level. Execution, discipline, and adaptability will be tested as the game unfolds, highlighting the importance of every snap, every block, and every tackle. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are growing louder around the league that the Philadelphia Eagles may be positioning themselves for one of the most impactful moves of the offseason, with Christian Darrisaw emerging as the name at the center of the conversation. While nothing has been made official, sources close to the situation suggest that the Eagles' front office is exploring the possibility of bringing in a highly regarded offensive tackle as a cornerstone addition to an already formidable roster. Darrisaw's profile fits perfectly with what Philadelphia has historically valued: size, athleticism, and the ability to dominate in the trenches. At just a glance, league insiders believe his arrival would signal more than a simple roster upgrade. It would be a statement of intent. The Eagles have long built their identity through offensive line excellence, and adding a player of Darrisaw's caliber could be interpreted as a clear message to rivals that the franchise is doubling down on that philosophy. Speculation intensified after recent internal evaluations reportedly highlighted the need to secure long-term stability at tackle. Darrisaw, still viewed by many scouts as a player who has yet to reach his ceiling, is seen as someone who could anchor the line for years. His blend of power and mobility has made him a difficult matchup for edge rushers, and executives around the league quietly acknowledge that players with his skill set rarely become available without significant competition. There's also a strategic layer to the rumor. Some believe the Eagles are anticipating future contract decisions and want to stay ahead of the curve by investing early in elite protection. Bringing in Darrisaw could provide flexibility, insurance, and a seamless transition as the roster evolves. Others go even further, suggesting that such a move would elevate the entire offense, allowing playmakers more time and space to operate. For now, it remains speculation, the kind that fuels debates on talk shows and among fans. Yet in a league where bold moves often reshape seasons, the idea of Christian Darrisaw wearing Eagles green feels less like fantasy and more like a possibility worth watching closely. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.